So today it was just, we didn't get anywhere. Did we go anywhere? No. We didn't go anyplace today. It was just, we've been working around the house, doing cleaning, doing different little things. It's all gonna, you know, stuff that's gotta be done. I put the land that we have in the north back up for sale today because the people who were almost ready to sign the contract, something happened and that went by the wayside, so we didn't do that. So I put it back up for sale, got some inquiries on that, and we'll see how that all goes. And then this house is on the market, so we're trying to, you know, put away stuff. You know, when you're at, you know, I joke with Sid, the next house is going to have a closet for me, a closet for her, and a closet for like vacuum cleaner and stuff like that, and that's it. Because the more space you end up having, the more stuff you end up collecting along the way. So we've been going through today, and do we need this? No. I mean, we've got like old electrical cables that went to computers from days gone by, and this thing and that thing, and finding where, you know, it's like, okay, where did this come from, man? How did this come out? And so that's basically what we've been doing, is trying to get rid of a lot of the extra stuff so that, you know, hopefully as somebody comes and looks at the house, it doesn't look like, you know, right, clutter central type thing. But, you know, that's not, you got to go through every little thing. If you've never moved, then you probably don't really know what I'm talking about. But we've moved enough, and every time you move, that's why it's probably easier if you just, yeah, maybe we should try that. Maybe we should just move in every 2 or 3 year increments instead. That way there's not the opportunity to collect as much junk.
Right on that one. Right on.
2-3 years, I think that sounds good, because that way if we build a new house every 2-3 years, it'll just get broken in, and eventually, by the time we get to be old, we'll have designed the ultimate house that we want. No response.
And then we'll die.
And then we'll die, right? Because that's what happens, is every house that you design, you're at a different point in your life. And so, you know, we've gone from, our first house was, ready? 2 stories though, 18 feet by 18 feet. It was a little tiny house in Rhode Island. And, you know, then we went up to, you know, like 4-bedroom houses with kids and stuff like that. And now it's downsizing again. But as you change it and your life changes, your spaces in those house changes. So I designed them so that it works at that period of time for what we need. And if you're there too long, well, then the need changes. But luckily for us, it's not usually there too long. It's like my grandfather lived in the same house he was born all the way up until he was probably like 70. And you know, then he got older and he had to get something else. But it's, I always was amazed that you could stay in the same house for all that period of time. It works for some people, I guess. Okay, put a new battery in. I've got some new batteries when I go back for this Canon camera. They don't last forever, and it's, you know, they get used so many times and then it's time for new ones. They just don't charge long enough, well enough, that kind of thing. But we've been having some good interest again in the land that we've got for sale. That's what I was just doing, is sending somebody more of the details. And, you know, while we're on that land or sales of property thing, there's a bunch of stuff that goes with the selling of property here. And one of those things is that there's fees for the owners and fees for the sellers. And usually those are split right down the middle. In this particular case on the land, what we're doing is we're selling it at $8,500 net, which means the purchaser pays for all the legal fees the stamp tax, all the things that have to go with it. And that's, you know, that's on them. We have nothing to do with that. When it gets done, we're already taking a pretty major hit on the sale of that land, but we want it, you know, we're not going to build. There's other pieces of land available, so we're trying to make it priced so that it will sell in a relatively quick manner. But, you know, how things are here, nothing goes quick. It's just how it is. So, but generally speaking, the prices you'll see if you start looking around for real estate are listed as gross. And those prices are the ones when you see gross, because Bahamian realtors are not allowed, God only knows why, are not allowed to put down a net price. They have to put down a gross price and then you negotiate, which on the negotiation end of things, just because you see a price that you think there's, you know, is maybe you like the house, but you look at the price and go, boy, make an offer. It's just like anywhere else. You may want, you know, 800,000, but it's unrealistic. So if you think that house is worth to you 500,000, offer them 500 or 600 or whatever it's worth to you, because that's a concept here that a lot of people just don't seem to get when they're selling their houses. And over the years, a lot of people have come to me and said, well, how can I sell my house? What should I do? Can I put a new roof on? Can I do with this? Can I do with that? And it has marginal amount to do with that. It's the price that you're selling it. The market is what the market is, and the market will only bear so much at that time. So you have to realize that you can't just go into it and say, I'm going to sell this property for 800,000 because I've got 600,000 into it. No, that doesn't work. If the market will bear 800,000, great. But if the market is only going to bear 500,000 or 600,000, that's what it's going to sell at. So you can hold on to it for 5 years, 10 years, whatever, hoping and praying the economy changes and this happens and that happens, and you end up getting your money eventually. But I always look at it too as if you were to take 600,000 and be done tomorrow, you can take that 600,000 and do something else with it. If you hold out for years and years, you got to maintain the property, you may have taxes on it, etc., etc. So are you really ahead of the game? No, not really, because all of that is going to be a cost and a headache, whereas you can just sell the property and move on. You know, and there's a lot of properties like that. I mean, I see this all the time. You know, a few years ago, some people came to me and said, oh, we haven't had anybody look at our property in 2 years. So I looked at the price of it. I went down, looked at the property, and they said, well, how can we sell this? And I said, you can sell it relatively quick. Well, nobody's even come to look at it. And I said, if you price it right. And at that particular time, I said, look, you want 700,000, that's great. Nobody's even coming to look, because people look at a certain range. They have a budget. I can look at houses that are between 300 and 500. So when you're at 7, they don't even look at your house. It's not even in the equation. So these particular people, I said, well, do you want to go? Okay, this is my last available battery. Let's see how long it lasts. I got another one charging, but so I said to those people, do you want to sell this and be done, or do you want to continue to wait? And they said, nope, we want to sell, we want to be done, we want to move out. And they were a little bit older. And I said, okay. Oh, they were also saying, oh, do you think we should put a new roof on? And I said, no. Everything, you know, construction-wise looks perfectly fine. What the problem is the price. Well, what do you think we should sell it at? I said, well, if you really want to go, put it down around somewhere between 350 and 450, you decide. I think, you know, 4 would probably be a good place. And they were like, oh, and they hemmed and hawed because there was 2 houses. It wasn't on the beach, but it was close to the beach. They thought it was worth 700,000 for two places. And I said, well, you know, it's up to you. So they thought about it for a little while, and they ended up putting it, I think it was like 400 or 425, somewhere around there, on the market. And in 2 weeks, they had sold it for 350, and they were done. And that's how the market works. You know, people in houses and properties get emotionally attached to those. And you can't be emotionally attached to a thing. And a house is a thing. Well, to me it is anyway. So when it's time to sell, you have to say, what will somebody pay me? Do I want to wait years, or do I want to sell the property, move on, do something else, whatever? And if there's nobody around, like when we first came here, the realtors around here would have maybe like 2 pages on the internet of properties. Now there's pages and pages of properties. People who have bought, didn't work out, got into money troubles, who knows what the story is. But a lot of the property here is drastically overpriced for what it is. That's the way it is. Everybody gets this idea. They bought a property here, or they built a house here, and it's worth a fortune. And I just said to somebody the other day, they said, oh, I can't sell my place for that because I have more into it. I said, that's not how this works. I said, if you buy a stock at $100 a stock and the market crashes and, you know, stays down and your stock is now worth $20, you can't go to the company and say, hey, I bought this for $100. Give me the $100. I'm not selling it at 20. Doesn't work that way. If you want to sell it, it's now worth $20. That's what it's. I mean, to me, that's like plain as day. It doesn't take a genius to figure out. So, and there's no emotional anything. But when you get emotional about properties, you tend to think, oh, we were here and we had this and we had such good times and we did this and we painted and we put new windows in, blah, blah. All of these things mean nothing to a potential buyer. They don't care if you had the time of your life in this. They don't care that it took you 5 years. Okay, so that battery died. So now I'm using the iPhone. Hopefully on that issue, it's the batteries, got the new ones I told you coming. If it's not, then it's the camera. The camera's done a lot of filming over the years, so it could be. I don't really want to buy another camera, but we'll see. So if you're coming down here and you're thinking of buying a property, just realize it's, you know, you've got the control because you have the money. And just because somebody says, oh, I want 1.5, I want 600,000, and nobody around here looks at comparing properties, generally speaking. If I've got, you know, say I'm gonna price this for 600,000, well, what are the other options on this island for that same price range? Is it reasonable? Well, let's see, I've got 5 beachfront homes for the same price. Well, then why in God's name is somebody gonna come down here and do that? The other part is, you know, the bulk of people come down here and they're thinking, I'm gonna build my own tropical home, my home, okay, with the way I want it built. Just like I was talking to you before. Everybody has an idea of what they want in a house. I can tell you, it's far easier to buy an existing house than it is to build one, because it's already there. You might have to do some repairs and stuff, but it's, trust me, it's a lot easier. So if you come down here, you see something you like, don't limit, you know, you're gonna have to, of course, be in a certain price range, or I assume you do, but make offers. That's the whole thing. Just because somebody says, not on our land, that's pretty much set. That's 8,500, period, end of discussion. Seriously. I've already dropped that like multiples. But this is how real estate works everywhere, and even on a tropical island, that's how it works. Don't be afraid to make an offer on something, and then you'll go through the whole process after that. So that's real estate.